Hey Screen Watcher, welcome back to another Double Take review where we give you our 2-take double dose injection of pop culture criticism because that's what Doctor Strange ordered. Just a heads up, the first half of the show will be spoiler free for your convenience, at which point we'll be swinging into spoiler territory where we put a big warning on the screen, just to let you know, all courtesy of our in-house spoiler monkeys. Without further ado, action! What are we watching?
Avengers: Infinity War.
Action! Avengers Infinity War, man.
Yes.
We made it to the big one.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about.
I think so.
And this is the first time I'll be hearing about your impressions.
Yeah, so I think...
And of course, we won't be talking about spoilers
Right.
for, I assume, just a short while. And then
Yeah.
we're going to jump into a pretty elongated, in-depth discussion of all of the spoilers.
Right.
So, did you like it?
Well, I think Marvel should stop making superhero films because they... I mean, honestly, this is the best they can make.
Oh, okay.
Like, this
You
was
brought it down.
fantastic. There's no way to make anything better than this.
Wow, dude.
Like, I know people were going crazy when Joss Whedon made the first Avengers, but, like, compared to what Russo brothers did with this movie, Joss Whedon is like Tommy Wiseau. Like, I mean, come on. Like, you can't even put them in the same ballpark. Like, this movie was everything you wanted it to be and more.
There were definitely times when I got a bunch of chills, and like when the theme kicks in too, you sort of feel the same way as you did in the first movie in that giant circular camera motion of all the Avengers, and that happens a couple different times, and it just kind of gets you up in the mood, and you're like, this is an awesome, freaking movie.
Right.
But no, a lot of cool stuff happens, a lot of surprises. A lot of repercussions and irreversible stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there are some things that might change in the future.
Because it's a comic book world and
Right.
it's, all those sort of things
but, like,
are sort of...
it felt real. It felt like there are consequences
Yes.
to the actions. And, I mean, I've never been this much surprised by the things that happen in, like, on screen. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And, I mean, I never thought that they could bring all these characters together and it would make sense. Even for, like, if you look at the first Avengers, the way they introduce Thor, it looks a little out of place. But here, they set up the world and everything makes sense.
The culmination of, I think this is the 19th one or the 20th one. And it's neat to see all the characters come together and make such an awesome just end experience. It does feel like an end experience. And
Isn't it the end of phase 1?
Phase 3. It's the end of
Phase
phase 3, and they're very close to the vest on what's going to happen going forward. They haven't even announced titles. We know stuff is coming, but they didn't even release like the title of Avengers 4.
Okay.
But yeah, I really liked it. I was really invested. I got a lot of cool chills, and for me, that's what makes a good movie.
Right.
There are some things that, not that I didn't like about it, but that I have questions about, and I think that's what we're about to jump into. If you're okay with it.
Yeah, let's end it.
All right, so
your final thought before we go into spoilers.
Yeah. You're probably already going to watch it, regardless if we say or not. You probably already have. But if you haven't, I definitely recommend it. It's a good time, a really cool culmination of 19 films. I don't think there's ever been anything like that, quite like this in the superhero comic world.
True.
So props to Marvel.
Yep. Go see it. Go see it now. like pay money and see it at the movie theater because it's
definitely.
It's an experience.
Definitely a movie-going experience. All right. So shall we swing into spoilers like Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Cue the spoiler monkeys! Alright. Dude, like 14, I counted like 14 different Avengers that supposedly died.
Right.
And
you know why, though?
What?
Hawkeye wasn't there. He would have saved all of them.
Yeah. That was so interesting. I totally thought he and Ant-Man would show up at some point, even if it was like a smaller role, and they're just...
Yeah.
There is a line at the beginning of the movie, and I wanted to talk to you about it. It says that... I think the line was that they're staying behind because of their families, But they also said they didn't say secret mission, but they said they're like on a mission. Do you remember hearing that part?
Honestly, I do not.
It was said,
it was just, I mean, since there were so many characters, I actually didn't really think of Ant-Man at all. Personally, I never liked Ant-Man, so it
was
his absence was in the
really
big deal to me.
It would have been cool to see them, even if it was just for a while. But it was nice to at least have them talk about what their absence was.
Right.
Was there anything that happened that like blew you away? Like off the top of your head?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting... I mean, at the very beginning of the movie, I mean, I think this is something that is not going to be reversed. They killed a big character.
Loki.
They killed Loki. And
that was kind of sad, dude.
Yeah, and I think, like, they set it up in a way that this is not going to... Like, there's no way for him to come back. Like, this is the end.
He was so charismatic as a villain in all these movies. Actually, for a lot of the irreversible stuff that happens to the characters, I felt myself saying, oh, I wish that I got to see a Guardians 3, or I wish I got to see Doctor Strange 2, or whatever. And all that stuff might still be possible, but there are stuff that happens in this movie that makes you question if we're going to see a sequel to a lot of these movies.
I'm pretty sure...
Because I don't want them...
I'm pretty sure they're gonna do something that will change, mess with the time and whatever.
Because I kind of don't want them to do that. Because I want there to be consequences for.
If they keep the movie the way it is, it would be the greatest movie of all time. I mean, so many people die, so many big characters die,
and they're just like, I don't give a fuck.
And like, you never see a movie like this that at the end, the bad guy wins. Mm-hmm. In this movie, the bad guy at the end achieves his mission. And it was like, what?
Let's talk about Thanos as a villain, because in all the trailers I was like, he seems like a really crappy villain, but in this movie I felt like his acting was really good. The CGI for his acting was really well done, and he was imposing and scary, and like I felt bad for the characters, like when he would like punch him or hit him or incapacitate him. Felt bad for Thor at the beginning for getting his ass kicked.
Right.
And so there are moments in the film when the characters do finally get a one-up. It feels good because you hate that villain so bad. I think that's probably the best villain in all the Marvel movies.
I would say so. I would. Yeah. I mean, every scene that he was in, I felt that he's the most powerful being in the room. Even in one scene when they were like trying to overpower him, I was still like worried. I was like, he's gonna do something. He's gonna do something.
The whole time, I'm there like this in the theater, and I had my mouth open in awe many times.
I mean, I heard a gasp when.
Oh yeah, I did too.
I mean, oh my god! It's just like so many things, and yeah, the movie is very intense, but at the same time, it's extremely funny. It's like one of the funniest event. Yeah, in the like whole Marvel universe, I think this was like the jokes landed. The majority of the jokes landed. I thought the jokes were a little bit mechanical, so we're like, okay, we're gonna have a joke here, but it worked.
There are so many characters to mix together and to finally see what their interactions would be, and it was cool that they explored that in this one. You got to see how Star-Lord would interact with both Iron Man and Thor,
right?
And that was
or
kind of
Doctor
cool.
Strange,
or even Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, or Spider-Man and some of the Guardians, or it was just neat to see.
Like if you look back at Age of Ultron and compare that to this movie, I mean, characters were nowhere to be seen in that movie, but for some reason in this movie, every character got a little part. Like Drax, like he was funny as hell in this movie. He had scenes that like he stole the entire show in those scenes, and it's just like good writing and good directing. So ultimately, I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm just
dude. There's so much to talk about. Which of the Avengers do you think that they're absolutely not bringing back? I'm gonna name off a few they're mainly just characters that we've known about from watching the movies. We saw Black Panther disappear, Spider-Man, Quill, Mantis, Drax, Gamora, Groot, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Doctor Strange, Vision, Loki at the beginning, Heimdall, Idris Elba's character, and Scarlet Witch.
Idris Elba is gone. So I'm sure that like he's
but isn't that crazy? They just killed at the end of Thor Ragnarok. It's kind of ends on a high note. Like you kind of want to see these characters again, and you're like, Asgard is a people, not a place, and then cut forward to the next movie.
Everyone's
and
dead.
Yeah,
he's like,
nope,
what?
There's no more people anymore.
Yeah.
So Asgard is 100% obliterated.
It is a dark movie for a PG-13 movie.
I don't think there can be another Thor movie. You know, like how do you do that? Like that whole Thor mythos is dead. And the new Mjolnir, I guess that's like a subplot of the movie of Thor going to create a new hammer. What did you think of that whole thing?
Oh, I thought that scene was fantastic because like remember we were talking about Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and we talked about how like aimless that whole sequence was with Finn and Rose going into that, like going on that
Casino
mission.
Planet,
Yeah, nothing worked out. But in this one, there was a mission. So Thor and the rabbit, he called him the rabbit. They go on a mission, and they achieve their goal in that mission, and it was fantastic.
It was neat to hear some backstory about why the gauntlet is so powerful too. It's essentially made the same way from the same guy who did Mjolnir.
Right.
And didn't they say a lot of the weapons that the Thanos' henchmen, the Black Order, were using? Mm-hmm. Like those were made there too, weren't they?
Right.
Because there was a point when I saw one of the big guys, he pulled his axe back just like Thor did with Mjolnir, mm-hmm. and I figured it works the same way, kind of. I guess I don't know. But yeah, that was super cool. And then they kind of jump forward with a couple things like the Power Stone on Xandar being just stolen. Like we don't even see that. Right. Xandar just gets destroyed supposedly. Mm-hmm. We don't even see that. Black Panther trying to, oh my god, there's so much.
I mean, he got a raw deal though. Like he got one movie, everyone was excited about him, and like in this movie his country was destroyed. And
obviously they're going to make a part 2 as they initially had said. I don't think that this is the end of anything. At the end of the movie it says, you know how most of the Marvel movies are like Iron Man will return, it says Thanos will return in such a dire way. What do you think will happen going forward? What are they going to do?
I guess from what I know that they're shooting Captain Marvel, and at the very end, post credit, there is a hint that we're gonna see Captain Marvel.
Do you think she plays a lot into what happens at the end of this movie, or?
Well, honestly, I have no idea because I'm not really familiar with how the entire world works. But I mean, the way the movie ended, I was just like flabbergasted. I was like, what happened? I don't know if. I mean,
what happened to them exactly? They all just.
I mean, the idea was
turned into leaves.
Well, the idea was if he gets all the stones, then he has the ability to eradicate
half of humanity. Right? He says that at the beginning of the movie.
So that's what he was doing,
and that's what we're meant to believe: is half of these people just.
And that might not
disappeared?
be the case. But if it is the case, that's like such a ballsy move.
So here's what happened. So Thor tries to kill him with his new axe. He's able to resist the full power of the gauntlet, drives the axe into his chest, and then you think he's about to win. By the way, how many times did Thanos avoid death in this movie for some weird reason? But then he actually snaps his fingers, where we jump to some weird ethereal realm where he's talking to Gamora, right? Mm-hmm. Without his gauntlet. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand where that is, or if it's in his mind or whatever, or what the purpose of seeing Gamora was there. Yeah. And then we see that we cut back to real time, and he's there, very damaged. His gauntlet is sizzled and broken. All the stones still intact. And then he hops back into space through a portal, and I'm curious of where he went. And then we see, that's when we start to see the other Avengers disappear. So I'm curious, where did he go? Is the gauntlet still intact? And he's like at the end of the movie, he's just like sort of looking over a sunset, but I don't know where.
Right.
And like I guess that's the end of his story. Do you know what's up with that, or do you have any guesses?
Honestly have no idea. I mean, this is not the usual way to end a movie. You don't kill your superheroes at the end of the movie, and like.
So as far as he's concerned, did Thanos win? Did he do what he set out to do?
Okay, let's think of this movie as a standalone movie. If the movie ended the way it ended, yes, he achieved his. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be something in the future. Like, remember in the first Avengers, the guy died, but then he came back and he has a show now on ABC.
Coulson. Oh, dude, I totally thought we would see Coulson. That would have been awesome if he just showed up.
Yeah.
Actually, at the end of the post credits, when that car stops and it runs into Fury and Hill, I thought it was going to be Coulson that walks out, and he's like, "Guys, there's some stuff going down. Let's band together, whatever." Not to like add the show into the movies, but just to add Coulson back. I thought that would have been cool.
Well, let me ask you this: what characters in this movie you liked, and what characters you thought that they were neglected? You didn't get much out of them.
Hulk.
You liked?
No, I think Hulk was neglected. I understand why. And that was cool to see him just go right out of the gate and attack Thanos. And you realize how powerful he is because he just takes him out. Right. But I would have liked to have seen more Hulk like go crazy. And this is the one movie where he could have gone crazy. But I don't. That's not something I dislike. It's just my own personal. I would have liked to seen Hulk go crazy. What about you?
I honestly never liked Black Widow. And I think just like it's just kind of silly. Everyone has superpowers, and like what does Black?
There's a chick fight in the middle. It's like a three-way.
Yeah, and that was kind of like and also I never bought the, I guess, romantic inkling between.
Yeah, they didn't expand on that, did they?
Between Hulk and Bruce Banner and Black Widow. It was like no.
It's just a quick little.
Just stop it. Yeah. Or even the thing between Vision and what's her name?
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch. Like I didn't buy that either, but whatever. But what I loved was again the relationship between, or the friendship, or like the mentorship between Iron Man and Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Like in Homecoming, I didn't necessarily like that relationship. I thought. I don't know, but this one I bought it. I bought that they're more friends in this one than actual like parentage.
Like he cares for him.
Yeah, he says you're going home, and he pulls his parachute.
Right.
And, and post credits we talked a little bit about it. Captain Marvel is going to be a part of that. The whole movie I was asking, where's Fury? Where's Fury? Where's Fury? We could probably throw him in there somewhere.
Right.
And then they do. I still don't think it was fully utilized. And that end credit scenes, it doesn't like...
This movie looks like nothing like other movies. Usually there are two post-credit sequences. One of them is like a fun one. One of them is like about the next movie. This one had no fun post-credit sequence. Just had a serious one that was like...
Sam Jackson almost said mother,
Yeah, the famous. It is strange. It is a strange experience when you leave the theater knowing that half of the people that you love from previous movies are technically not alive anymore.
Yes, so. If we're taking it at face value.
Yeah.
Just wanted to talk about the Black Order a little bit. His henchmen. What did you think of them?
I mean, compare that to Thor: Dark World. Like in this movie, we had a villain, we had like henchmen, and like all of them came across as powerful,
dangerous.
But like some movies are just like cardboard characters. You can just like, hey, you're bad guys, whatever, and then they leave or they're defeated. But in this movie, like every single one
left a mark in some way.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah,
and just some interesting surprises that happened later. The Red Skull popping up.
Yeah.
Still don't understand.
How long has it been?
That's what I was thinking. Is like
since the very first Captain America movie.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about that character or his powers in the comics, but it was neat to see. I'm really proud of Marvel for recognizing stuff that, like, I don't know, like softballs they hit up, and like we're all wondering when are they going to come down, you know, when are they going to catch these pop flies. And they've retconned that fake gauntlet in Thor's chambers, or Odin's chambers, and then they also retcon where's Red Skull. You know, he gets transported through the Tesseract in Captain America, and we're all like, where is the Red Skull? And he pops up. So kudos to Marvel for just including him. Yeah, and I don't know. So the movie ends with half of humanity supposedly being destroyed. I still think there's something interesting with Gamora. That's what I wanted to talk about, is the possibilities of maybe characters did on purpose. Doctor Strange was talking about, he said this is the end game, and there's one of 14 million ways that we might win.
Don't you think that the way they played it might be?
I think he did something. I think he knew in some way.
Well, like, such a ballsy way to end the movie like this, and then like come back and pick it up in another movie. Just like,
oh yeah, but it's the,
well, usually
everybody likes to copy Empire and leave it on a downside, and then the next one is supposed to be
even in like Empire Strikes Back, like you don't get this amount of craziness.
Yeah,
by the
like
end.
I said, they supposedly killed off 14.
I heard audible gasps in the movie theater. It was like, what is happening?
When Tony Stark got stabbed, that's when I heard.
Yeah,
I actually thought he was gonna die in this one,
and
100%.
like I didn't understand why Doctor Strange like intervened, and like I don't know, but this is a movie that you need to watch again to,
for sure.
Yeah, pick like those little things that you missed the first time.
Well, Action, that was Infinity War. That was the culmination of, I think, 19 different Marvel movies.
Yes, sir.
And it was definitely a treat.
Absolutely. I think you should go see it. And
hope you guys liked it.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys checking out our video. And please subscribe if you like our stuff. We are doing this almost every week this summer because we have a lot of good movies coming out.
A lot of big movies coming out. Yep.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for what is it? I saw one for Solo. I saw another one for Mission Impossible.
Yeah, and we'll be doing them all.
Yeah.
We will be here. We like to end the show with a heartfelt thank you to all of the hardworking spoiler monkeys. So kudos to you. And we hope to catch you again. Keep on screen watching.